Karen from Countyfairgrounds USA, countyfairgrounds.net. Welcome to today's podcast. Do I have
Mark Lovell on the phone with me, the president and CEO of Universal Fairs and, of course, the Alabama State Fair?
All that.
All that.
Yep.
Hi, Mr. Mark.
How are you? What's your name?
My name's Cool K. I'm known across the country. Across the country is Cool K. Yes.
All right. Yeah, Cool K.
Nice to meet you, too. So, tell me, how long has the Alabama State Fair been running?
Well, you know, the Alabama State Fair was running back in the early 1900s, and it filed bankruptcy in 1992, and I took it out of bankruptcy in 2009 and reopened it. And we've been running it since.
I have to ask this next question, and I rather dread doing it. How did you deal with the COVID issue?
Oh, we did it wide open. We opened. We did it in 2019. COVID hit in March of 2020. We had our fair in September of 2020. We did it in 21, and we're going to do it again here this year. We had to jump through some hoops. We bought, I think 2 50-gallon drums of hand sanitizers, and we had hand sanitizers. I think I bought for that fair 80,000 masks, and I think that number is correct. A bunch of masks, and we put in a lot of spread the rides out. All the food joints had hand sanitizers. Every ride had its hand sanitizers. We had hand sanitizers at all the entrances, all the porta-johns, the whole deal.
Okay, all right. Do you have good parking?
Do we have good parking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
What about for seniors and things like that? Because I'm a senior myself.
You are. You don't sound like it.
Oh, well, that's the way it goes some days.
Yeah, we have handicap parking, and, seniors, even if they ask for it, we give it to them. If they're seniors and they're handicapped, of course, they park in the handicap. If they're seniors and they're not handicapped and they ask if we had something close, we accommodate them. We're there to serve people.
So how many parking lots do you have? What's the best entrance?
Well, everybody comes. There's 2 entrances into the property, and they funnel them all down to one spot. And then, I think we have about 5,000 parking spots.
Okay, so if you were new to this fair and never been there before, what would you suggest I do if I come in the front gate?
Bring a big smile and get ready to have a good time.
So there's exhibit buildings by the front gate?
The exhibits are by the front entrance. Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh. We don't have all our exhibitors are under a pavilion.
So what about restroom facilities? That's another thing that concerns me as a senior.
Well, we have one restroom for the men and one for the women that are permanent, with ceramic toilets and running water and all that. Mm-hmm. And then and that's at the entrance, mm-hmm. close to the entrance. And then after that, we have porta-johns throughout the rest of the property. So there's only one facility at the very front that is permanent.
Okay, so what about grounds acts? Do you have any strolling grounds acts walking around?
I would say that we are the king of ground acts. We probably have more ground acts than most state fairs.
You want to tell me about a couple of them?
Yeah. We've had several of our ground acts have been on America's Got Talent. We rotate them through, so that we don't have, some of them we'll have them 2 or 3 years in a row. And some of them, every other year, the ones that we like. But, we've had the Sea Lions. We've had Rhinestone Roper, which is a Wild West show, as a trick horse. And roping and all that, trick roping, and we've had a dinosaur display. We have had motorcycle stunt shows. We have a circus. We have, the dock dogs. We've had the dogs that run and jump and catch frisbees. We always have a kids show. We always have a petting zoo. Let me think. We've had Lady Houdini many times. We usually have at least 4 and sometimes as many as 8 or 9 different shows that are free with the price of admission. So once you pay admission, there's plenty to see and do if you're not if you don't like to ride rides. And of course, we always have a great variety of fair food.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you about, fair food. What's your favorite fair food?
Oh, I can't answer that. Grilled chicken.
Okay.
Grilled chicken. Yep. And some of our food vendors, we do fairs across the country. We also run the Georgia State Fair, and we run the Delta Fair in Memphis, Tennessee. But I've got a couple of my favorite ice cream folks. I'm a big ice cream connoisseur.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so suppose I came to this fair with a bunch of little kids under 12. What should I do with them first?
Tell them to behave.
Good luck.
and to mind cool K. That's the first thing you tell them.
Yeah.
And you also tell them to pair up, and also tell them where to go if they get lost. And also, we have different protocols at different events, but sometimes we put a little white wristband on them with their phone number to call in case they get lost, stuff like that. But we have our admission prices are 4 and under are free, and age 5 to 12 is a youth. And of course, if you've been around this fair business a long time, rides are run not by age but by height. So slap a wristband on them. That's what they want to do. Let them ride rides.
So you talked to me a little bit about the fair food. What's some unusual fair foods that you have, do you think? Do you know?
I think that this whole fair industry is constantly trying to reinvent something new, because every time anyone in the fair management position gets interviewed, what do you have new this year? You got a new ride, you got a new food, you got a new, I think that a lot of people go to the fair, they want something new is not really high on the list. I think a lot of people want to go to their favorite food vendor. Like your other question was, what's your favorite food? Years ago, we ran the King County Fair in Enumclaw, Washington.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with that county fair, but that is the the longest running county fair west of the Mississippi River. And on their 150th year, which is about 8 years ago, they were going to fold it up and quit. We caught word of it, and we called them and we said, we'll run that fair for you. So we ran it for 3 years, 4 years, I can't remember exactly, and got them back on track. And then the county took it back over, and but we had people come to that fair just for the scones. And then come to so we have people that come to our fair just for certain foods or certain food vendors, and but we have food vendors that are always trying to invent something new. I think 5 or 6 years ago, the velvet funnel cake. Remember that red velvet funnel cake?
Yeah.
That was trying to be a big deal, and everything, something on a stick or deep fried something or all that, deep fried bacon. So barbecue bacon is very delicious. We had a vendor do that.
Yes, the concessionaires that I talk to tell me all the time, it's always a contest. You're right there. They always are trying to invent new things. But my main concern here is that, this fair, I'm really happy that it's running, and we all need happiness right now. So if I was going to bring these little bitty kids inside the gates, I mean, what do you think is the first thing that we should do? Are the exhibit buildings right, like near the gates?
Yeah. Well, we put our commercial vendors close to the gate, front the entrance.
Okay.
And then we have, and depending on how many ground acts or attractions that we have, if we have a bunch, we'll split them in half and put half of them on one side of the fairgrounds and the other half on the other side. Because if you have too many and they're all together, they're on top of each other time-wise, and it's hard to make it to where all of them can perform without distracting each other. Last year at the Alabama State Fair, I overbooked, and I had way too many attractions because I had a couple of them that canceled for the year before, and then it's like, we'll just book you for next year. Is that good? Yeah, that's good. Everybody's happy. Okay. And then I forget that I booked, that I made that promise to them, and then I got to honor it, and so they came, and so we probably had 2 or 3 more than we needed, but it all worked out. But it got to be a problem where there were so many that we had to split them up and put half of them on one side of the fairgrounds, and half on the other side, so everybody could perform without stepping on each other's toes.
Well, that's okay. People need to walk around.
Yeah, and every performer wants a good audience. And so if you got them on top of each other, they're over there trying to, hey, come watch the kids show. It's great. Come watch this.
What about your evening performances?
You talking about music?
Yes.
Or what are you talking about? Well, we do we cut back to doing just local music.
Okay.
These overpriced. Some of these artists are overpriced, and they can go see concerts anytime they want. Most cities have venues and they got concerts, and in Birmingham, Live Nation has an amphitheater, and there's a concert there, basically from spring till late fall, almost every week, and sometimes more, 2 or 3 in a week. And so we're in the fair business, not in the concert business.
Okay.
And so we just find it not really financially feasible.
What are the hours basically of this fair then, from the morning opening to evening?
Our Alabama State Fair, we open late. We open at 4:00 Monday through Friday, and noon on Saturdays and Sundays, and then we'll stay open as late as the crowd's there.
You don't really have like an amphitheater where people could come in and see things?
Well, what we'll do is put up a mobile stage.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand now. All right. And you told me a little bit of the history of this fair. So you guys going to keep running it?
Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. And I don't remember this fair running in the spring last year. It didn't, did it?
No, ma'am. But this is our first year to run it in the spring.
A lot of the fairs don't get started until later in the year. Of course, Florida has run. Florida's always running. So, but it's nice to know that Alabama's hung in there. I worry about some of you fairs, and some of them we've lost a lot of fairs and a lot of entertainers. We have lost. Everybody knows that. I do. We have lost a lot of things throughout the country. So. Yep.
Well, it's a shame, and some of the fairs that have closed. It's from just the neighborhood changing. Some of them closed because of poor management. Some of it, I think, some of them closed just other options for the public. And and some of the small county fairs, I think, have had a hard time just because not only have a lot of fairs gone out of business, a lot of the carnival companies have gone out of business. And so if they're going to drop somebody, they're going to usually drop the smaller county fairs. Of course, they got some, like the Elkhart County Fair. That's one of the, I don't even know why they call it a county fair. It's so big.
Okay, so does this particular fairgrounds have other events that run at it now following the state fair?
They do a Christmas light show starting on Friday the day after Thanksgiving, and we'll run into the first couple of days of January.
Okay.
And they've done a hot air balloon show a couple of times, but that's pretty much it.
you're planning on being back next year with the fair again?
We'll be there twice a year, spring and fall. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so do you have your fall date set yet?
Yes, I do. We're always the third and fourth weekend of September. The 23rd, yeah. Well, actually,
okay.
We're, yeah. Is that right? Yeah, I think we run the 16th through the 25th. September the 16th through the 25th.
Okay, That's good to know. The last question I'm going to ask you is a kind of a personal one. Do you have any kids face painters at this show?
Face painters? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
we do.
I used to be one, so that's why I'm asking.
We have one guy that does most of our events, and he's been with us about 5 or 6 years.
That's cool.
I cannot remember it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mark. I've enjoyed talking to you, and we're going to stick you on our front page and get you some traffic.
All right. Cool, Kay. Well, thanks. It was a pleasure talking to you. I hope you have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.